Hey YouTube, Kira Tweak here, bringing you all an update to my Amazoness Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for Post-Legacy of Destruction. I got a couple requests from people to update the Amazoness deck using the new Battle Guard's Echo spell, which helps to search out some of the specific Amazoness monsters in the deck as more of a deck-thinning playstyle for adding the additional support onto it. Plus, I've made some other changes with the deck since Isolde Two Tails of the Noble Knight had been banned as well, because I did use an equip playstyle to help with some of the special summon for the Amazon's cards, but had to take the card out, obviously, since, Isolde has been banned, and that's the last time the deck has been updated. So, once again, figured an update was due along with the new support and for some of the changes made previously to the deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. We'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters for our Amazoness monsters, running 3 copies of Amazoness Princess. This card's name becomes Amazoness Queen while on the field or in the graveyard. If this card's normal or special summon, you can add 1 Amazoness spell or trap from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Amazoness Princess once per turn. And also, when it declares an attack, you can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard to special summon 1 Amazoness monster from your deck in defense, except for Amazoness Princess. So more of a setup for your other Amazoness cards, but also being able to make use of the search power for your different Amazoness spells or traps, whether you want to add Amazoness Call, your Amazoness Onslaught, or even some of the lower number Amazoness cards we run, like Amazoness Village, to your hand. You can do so thanks to Princess. Also running 3 copies of Amazoness War Chief. This is the main go-to card to search out with the Battle Guard Echoes when it's activated, being able to add a level 5 Earth Warrior monster, and being able to add War Chief off of this card, being one of the better cards, is another 3 of, just makes it so it's another searcher for this specific card. If you control no monsters or only Amazoness monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If it's normal or special summon, you can set 1 Amazoness spell or trap or 1 Polymerization directly from your deck. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot attack with only Amazoness monsters, and you can only use each effect of War Chief once per turn. So it's set up, it's an easy special summon, definitely another 3 of, only made better for the fact that you can search it with your Battle Guard Echoes. I almost called the card Amazoness Echoes, but it should rightfully be so with just how much of a good search it is for the deck. And for the last of our 3-ofs, 3 copies of Amazoness Spiritualist. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target 1 Amazoness card you control, except for Spiritualist, return to the hand, and special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for Amazoness monsters. If this card is special summoned, you can add 1 Polymerization from your deck to your hand. So you have a search for Polymerization off of War Chief, Spiritualist, you name it. You can save the Amazoness spell or trap for your War Chief, and then just search the Polymerization off of Spiritualist to then be able to go into your fusion plays. For some of the lower numbers for the Amazoness cards, 2 copies of Amazoness Spy. You can reveal 1 other Amazoness monster in your hand, special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect of Spy once per turn, and when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Amazoness monster in your graveyard except for Spy and return to the hand or shuffle into the deck. So just being able to reveal an Amazoness, special summon Spy, and then use the other effect of maybe cards like Spiritualist to bounce Spy back to our hand gives us a special summon setup without even taking away from our normal summon in the deck. For some of the 1-ofs in the deck, 1 copy of Amazoness Gold Whipmaster and 1 Swordmaster, being more of a pendulum setup for their own specific plays, being able to target an Amazoness spell or trap in our graveyard and add it back with Silvermaster, and also having an attack boost, and also the same with our Amazoness monsters for the option of Golden Whipmaster. When an attack is declared involving an Amazoness monster, you can target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it. Destruction power, as well as more of the setup of being able to place these cards in their pendulum zone when they're destroyed, so you can easily search them off of Princess, and when they're destroyed, set them up in your pendulum scale. And for the other 1-ofs for the Amazoness cards, the 1 copy of Amazoness Baby Tiger. You only really need the 1. You can set it up in your graveyard quite easily and then just special summon it back every time you summon out an Amazoness monster. 1 Amazoness Scout for more protection during either player's turn. Tribute this card to, during this turn, face-up Amazoness you control cannot be targeted by effect monster effects and cannot be destroyed by the effects of spell, trap, or effect monsters. The 1 copy of Amazoness Sage for more spell and trap destruction. And I don't know where my Amazoness Queen got off to, but I have 1 Amazoness Paladin as a placeholder, but this would be Amazoness Queen. I wouldn't normally run Paladin in the deck. It's an attack booster card, while Amazoness Queen is a card that can protect your Amazoness monsters from being, destroyed by battle. So if you have Amazoness Queen, replace it for the, spot holder I have for Amazoness Paladin. That's it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. Running 3 copies of Amazoness Call. You take 1 Amazoness card from your deck, except Amazoness Call, either add to your hand or send it to the graveyard. And during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target 1 Amazoness monster you control. This turn, that monster can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. So you have an attack power boost for this card, being able to utilize a bigger fusion monster to attack multiple times. And also for this play, you have the setup of being able to just search out some of your other Amazoness cards, being able to then use cards like this to add your Amazoness Princess to your hand, being able to use Amazoness Call during the draw phase takes away from your opponent being able to draw and Lockbird you for other searches in the deck also. Our other fusion spell that we run, we mentioned polymerization before, but we're also running Amazoness Secret Arts. Fusion summon 1 Amazoness fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. If you fusion summon an Amazoness fusion monster this turn, you can also send 1 Amazoness monster from your extra deck to the graveyard as material. So some of our Amazoness monsters, like our Amazoness Augustus, need a Amazoness fusion monster and 1 Amazoness monster to make. So needing that fusion, you can take cards like Empress or our other Amazoness monsters to be able to use for that fusion play of the bigger fusion cards. Also, the 3 copies of Battle Guard Echoes. On top of being the search for our Amazoness Warchief, we also have the play of, with this card, once per turn, if a monster is returned from the field to the hand, even during the damage step, you can activate one of these effects. So you can change a face-up monster on the field to face-down defense, so it takes away from some of the bigger boss monsters your opponent may have by being able to deal easier with a monster face-down. And you can use this play as well, being able to return to the hand with cards like Amazoness Spiritualist to make use of that second effect. For some of the lower spell numbers, 2 copies of Polymerization. It's searchable off of Warchief and also our Spiritualist, so having 2 of a search for both of the cards just gives us more and more search power for both copies of Polymerization if we need to go into one fusion and then another one if we didn't have our Amazoness fusion spell, Secret Arts, to use one of our extra deck monsters also. But we'd have to use for the banish play, so having the polymerization search comes down to an easier play to make use of as well once we use Secret Arts for the first fusion and then banish and have polymerization to rely on afterwards. For some of the one-ofs for the spells, 1 copy of Amazoness Village. It's searchable off of Princess, that's why we only have the 1-of copy. Foolish Burial to set up Baby Tiger in the graveyard, 2 specials on the back. Reinforcements of the army to search for any of the level 4 or lower Amazoness monsters aside from Baby Tiger, and the 1 Monster Reborn. If you can just grab a resource back from the graveyard like Princess, you have another search off of this card to begin with, since it grabs a search even when it's special summon. With the last of the spells being 2 copies of Forbidden Droplet, you can really make a board with all your different monsters in this deck quite easily, so using Forbidden Droplet as just a way to take those resources, clearing up some of your space on the field, and also being able to stop some of your opponent's monster effects. For the traps, 2 copies of Amazoness Onslaught. Once per turn during the battle phase, you can special summon 1 Amazoness monster from your hand. If you do, it gains 500 attack until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. And after damage calc, if your Amazoness monster battled an opponent's monster, while this card's already face up in your spell and trap card zone, you can banish that opponent's monster, taking away from any destroyed by battle card effects or destruction effects that your opponent's monsters may have had using this card. And if this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Amazoness monster in your graveyard and special summon it back. So if you have your Princess as the resource to grab this card, and this card is destroyed, you can then summon back the Princess and grab the other copy from the deck to set up another trap play the following turn. And also the 1 copy of Amazoness Willpower is just another special summon resource that can be searched from the deck. And 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence as the final main deck spot. And also just the hand trap of choice. If you wanted to run Ash Blossom, you could always drop down the number of Forbidden Droplet we run and maybe one of the other 1-of spells, or even one of the copies of Polymerization for 3 copies of Ash Blossom. For the extra deck, I run the 1 copy of Amazoness Empress and the 1 copy of Pet Liger. Needing the fusion option resources for these cards, you can use the Amazoness spell, Secret Arts, for the initial send of these cards, or needing Queen or Tiger to summon both of these respectively with their needed Amazoness monster. Just the 1-of copies though, I feel that's all you need with some of the bigger boss monsters being the Amazoness Augustus, or Augusta. I think I've been saying Augustus the whole video, but it is Amazoness Augusta. Needing Amazoness fusion monsters, you could even use Pet Liger for this fusion play as well, and 1 Amazoness monster. Also protecting your other monsters from being targeted for attacks. With this card, it can also make multiple attacks during the battle phase if you used Amazoness Empress or Amazoness Queen as material. And if this card fusion summon, you can special summon 1 Amazoness monster from your deck, giving you more resources to extend out your plays. 2 copies of Pet Liger with the same option for your Amazoness monsters as protection for your Amazoness cards attacks. And lastly, for the fusions, Monsters, 1 copy of Garura, just needing 2 monsters with the same type and attribute, so the Warrior Earth that we run in the deck, very easy to make this fusion play also, with the double attack option and draw power. For the Link monsters, 1 copy of Nightmare Cerberus, 1 also the Earth Charmer, 1 Cross Sheep, 1 IP Masquerena, and the 1 Barricade Board Blocker for the Link 2 monsters, with our higher Link monsters being 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Appaloosa, and the 1 Underworld Goddess. No real restrictions in the deck aside from Spiritualist, so you can go into Link monsters a good variety of the times anyway. With our go-to plays in the deck, as I said, Echoes just helps for more search power. You can activate this card, searching out your Amazoness War Chief, and then if you control no monsters, which this is the first play you did in the turn, you can special summon this card from your hand. If it's special summon, you can set 1 Amazon Spell Trap or 1 Polymerization directly from your deck. So then you can set up your Onslaught on the field or have a search for your Amazoness spell call or your secret arts for a fusion summon during the following turn. You would just need that additional monster in your hand for you to use as well, but you haven't even gone for your normal summon yet, which can be done with Amazon's Princess, to then grab the other respected card you need for the play, giving you plenty of setup on the field. And if you have the potential bounce back play with your Amazon Spiritualist, you can then also set one of your opponent's monsters if you ended up going second against them. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira, Twig out.